Frogs and toads are my favorite animals on the planet, but they're in trouble, so I decided to dedicate a YouTube channel focusing on the conservation of these animals.
AAron Capouellez, communication.
I'll present to you the educational and entertaining aspects of their lives.
Well guys, we delivered on the promise that we were going to find the great tree frog.
Frog Week is dedicated to the animals of the Northeast and their story. This is my conservation efforts. Welcome to Frog Week.
So what you guys can see that I have in my hand is a toad that we rescued. I was coming home from a friend's house and I was watching our driveway because we have a lot of toads around. So as I was looking in the driveway, I saw this little toad sticking its head up like it was in serious pain. So what I decided to do, I got off the road, I put my hazard lights on, and I snatched him up. So then I let him recover for a couple of weeks. I have a tank where he could rest, and he started to shed, his skin started to heal, and he was in similar conditions, almost the same temperatures to the outside. He's been resting the whole time. I've noticed that he's gotten a lot better. He seems to be healed. He's got a little bit of scars and stuff like that from whatever happened, but he's in really good shape. So tonight it's raining, it's the same temperature as the room he was in, so we're going to release him at the area that I've been working on for the last couple of years. You guys have already seen it, it's where I keep all the tadpoles, but we're going to release this guy up there and he's free to go wherever he wants. So we'll go do that now. You're free to go home. You live here. I think he's in shock. Give him about a minute here. You can see the markings along his head. That's where he was wounded a little bit. And just like that, guys, we released the wild toad back into the wild. Even though this is the backyard, this is where he was found. This is where he's from. So it's only fitting to bring him back to where he was found. Hopefully, whatever happened doesn't happen again. I'll be keeping my eye out for him, but there's a lot more plants now, there's a lot more water, there's a lot more hiding places for this toad than there were just a couple of weeks ago. A lot more plants have come up, there's a lot of good places to hide. So hopefully he lives a long, happy life, and we'll see him breeding up here or down at the pond next year in the spring.
Well, the project intrigued me initially because everybody likes toads. And of course, Aaron had showed me his toads in an aquarium, which was interesting because in an aquarium, a toad has character or personality. But what really caught my imagination was when you started to move into the field, because my career was mostly spent walking through the woods, walking around mine sites, surveying streams, and I was always focused on the technical aspects, like water quality, like the discharge from a pond, like pH. So I wasn't as observant as I should have been. And there was a lot of wildlife that missed my attention. And this project is bringing that back to the fore, that, you know, there are a lot of living creatures out there, and we have to be observant if we're going to see them. And so this project is, especially with these frogs that were discovered, and it was documented that Cambria County and Somerset County had species that had not been listed before, that had not been documented before. And so that was very intriguing that they were found at mine treatment sites, especially sites that treated mine water that were operated by watershed groups, not mining companies. And so this is a big story in Pennsylvania where naturalists and nature lovers and hikers are getting involved in cleaning up the environment. They're not waiting for big corporations. They're doing it in their own backyards. And lo and behold, we're discovering and finding different types of frogs, turtles, lizards that we didn't know were here. We're going to go get the coal, but we have to reclaim the land. Yeah, we're going to harvest the crops, but we need to be careful how we administer fertilizers. Yeah, we're going to build a factory, but we're also going to protect the wetland. And so I think in America especially, as pioneers, we were in the woods. And so it's almost innate for some Americans to appreciate the woods, the bears, everything in creation, because as we settle this country, from the eastern shore to the western shore, those pioneers were always immersed in nature that hadn't been touched by man yet. So we appreciate that, and I think this is bringing that back to a new generation.
The next generation that Malcolm was talking about is, of course, the PA Woods and Forests crew. I want to give a special shout out to the guys and Maria for being a huge part in contributing to Frog Week 2021. So special thanks to Maria, Tyler, Braden, and Josh. I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you guys, and this part of the video goes out to you.
So I wonder if you could grow that and place apps in the corner.
Yeah, Frog Week's been pretty cool to be a part of, to go out and look for frogs and to kind of see them in their natural environment. That's pretty cool. I don't know that I had really done that before, actually gone and looked for frogs, so it's cool to do that and actually know like where to look for them, what to look for, and just learn more about the frogs. Yeah, that's a pretty awesome thing that you were able to find that, and it shows your dedication to be out there looking for it again and again. It's not something you just stumbled across as you were walking in your backyard. So it shows some of your dedication and your effort in continuing to look for these things and study this stuff to be able to find that. Hopefully it's a good omen or a good sign for our environment in general, that some of these animals that haven't really been seen, whether they haven't been around at all or there's just so few of them that we don't run into them anymore, that they're actually being seen now and maybe making a comeback. And hopefully that's just a good sign for our environment in general. Yeah, but it's a pretty cool thing that you get to say you're the first person to have encountered that and found that in a while. I told you the other day you need to find a species that nobody has found anywhere yet, so you can name it the AAron frog or something, the Capouellez frog or whatever. But yeah, that's cool to be able to see that and see something that hasn't been seen in a while, and hopefully that means that things are rebounding environmentally around here.
Look at who we have showing up to the vernal pool.
I was super excited to see this wood frog show up late in the season. I didn't catch this on camera, but earlier in the year, there was a pair of wood frogs that bred in the vernal pool to the right-hand side. I'm not saying this was the male responsible, but it was super exciting, and it was a true testament to all the hard work that I was doing and everything that I was trying to achieve with the conservation for American toads and wood frogs and gray tree frogs. It was one of the most encouraging sights to be seen, watching this little wood frog scurry about.
Like you said, these species aren't necessarily in decline here now, but amphibians worldwide are in decline, and things can change really quickly. I really like the idea of getting people to see these animals regularly, see how they behave in captivity, as a way of kind of getting to know the stuff that's around us. Like we've talked about before, a lot of people tend to have a bias towards more exotic species, myself included. But this is stuff that's here. It's the stuff that's our neighbors, stuff that we should care about. So it's nice to see somebody really focusing on wood frogs and American toads, things that we see outside in nature all the time.
Frog Week 2021 has been one incredible journey. Whether we discovered the gray tree frog in 2 different counties, or we documented the American toads and some of the unique circumstances that followed for their breeding season, getting the chance to see them breed twice in 1 year, but also how they would battle a snowstorm in the middle of the breeding season. We also had a chance to see what wood frogs do during drought and in times of desperation. But among all of that, the understanding and the education and entertainment that we were able to provide you, but also the excitement that we had, is what I'm going to remember with Frog Week. It's a very important project that we're out here trying to do, the conservation of the habitat and the animals that we're trying to save. Now, the frogs and toads that we showed, the majority are abundant and they're not in any risk of going extinct sometime soon. But just because they're abundant doesn't mean that someday they couldn't be vulnerable. The goal of Frog Week has been to make people care about the species and care about frogs and toads in general. So I hope that you had a unique experience seeing animals up close and personal, hearing their calls and seeing the habitats that they live in while adventuring and journeying with us. We'll see you in Frog Week 2022, where the ridges and the bogs and also parts of different rivers are going to be a unique aspect of where we look next. So thank you very much for watching Frog Week. Please share it with your friends, share it with anybody you can, and we'll see you in the next one. Please also consider liking and subscribing so that way we can present you with more content. Thank you. We made it to the end, guys. This is the final episode of Frog Week 2021, but don't worry, we have new projects in the works, so make sure if you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon because we have new work on the way. And as for Frog Week, well, let this little Easter egg tell you that we will see you in Frog Week 2022.